state and local leaders have been working to address the childcare shortage for many years in Kettleland, finally making a major change this summer.
As South Dakota's Department of Social Services changed the rules, allowing in-home providers to care for 3 infants instead of 2. But the city of Sioux Falls has not changed its rules for licensed in-home daycares, which means providers can still only have 2 children under 12 months old in their care. What it's like for parents searching for infant openings in the city in tonight's Eye on Kettleland.
There are a couple different pictures here of his little face.
Kristen Treby just had her 20-week ultrasound for her baby boy that came as quite the surprise.
Could tell that something was going on, but wasn't sure what. And so I just had taken a test, and there it was, and didn't really believe it, and so took another, and eventually got that confirmed by our doctor.
After getting over the initial shock, the emergency room nurse began her search for daycare.
I hadn't really had that in mind. It wasn't really on our horizon yet. Thought, well, it's Sioux Falls. There's bound to be a plethora of options, and that is not the case, as we're finding.
After contacting more than a dozen providers, Treby's finding the wait for most infant openings in Sioux Falls is a full year, with wait lists too full to add any more names.
A few dates that I've gotten so far from daycares are all the way into August of next year.
Oh, yeah, hi. It's a problem Cassandra Paulson knows all too well after more than a year of calling daycares.
Tons of them. There's just not openings. They're all booked out till end of next year.
When Paulson decided it was time for a second baby, she already had an opening secured at her oldest child's current provider.
So I was like, we're good. We got it taken care of. And then there was 2 of them. So then it was a whole new ball game of trying to figure out what are we going to do now.
She says her twins have been a big blessing, but trying to find another infant opening for baby number 2 proved impossible.
They ended up staying home with me for a while. I was at least lucky enough to be able to work from home.
And that worked well.
We just rotated babies every other day. One would come here, one would stay home.
Until it didn't.
I was panicking for a while, especially after they started to get more mobile. I hit panic quite often.
That's when Paulson started looking into any possible option for childcare.
Could not really find anybody. I had a few like high schooler graduates come try to help. None of them were very reliable. We did finally find a mom who was willing to help, but she could only help 3 days a week.
All right. That stay-at-home mom eventually opened a full-time daycare, finally providing Paulson with full-time childcare for her twins.
Ready? We gotta go get sister.
But in order to make childcare work for all 3 kids,
Okay, there we go.
Paulson now has another 45 minutes in her morning and evening routine.
It's 3 different pickups, 3 different drop-offs. Oh, I know.
While the commute to 3 different daycares is a major hassle, Paulson says it's the kind of arrangement many families are having to settle for so both parents can go to work.
You're stuck with what's out there, and sometimes that's not good. Like I said, we went to a couple. I tried out I think I tried out 2 that were just opening. After about a week at a couple of them, I was like, this is not okay. So then we went back to them staying at home.
I think being a first-time parent, there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of things on our minds, a lot and a lot of stress.
With the current state of available childcare, Treby says daycare is near the top of her list for the stress-inducing part of becoming a parent.
I do feel like choices are limited, but we don't want to go with something just spur of the moment because we need it.
Like many first-time parents, Treby anticipated being able to fully vet many different options until finding a provider she feels comfortable with.
And I think that it's hard to imagine a stranger with our child, somebody that you don't really know very well. So we want to have a good feeling as we walk into these places.
Well, you obviously want to be comfortable with them. You want to know they're watching your kids more than you are most of the time. You want to know that you can trust them to do what you want to do. So meeting them and knowing they're going to take care of your kid like you, if not better, is hugely important.
It's a golden relationship that's become increasingly hard to find in many communities where childcare openings are scarce.
It's a big part. It's going to be a big part of our lives. It's going to be a big adjustment for us, and I just want us to find the right place. So.
Oh, good childcare is so important. Treeby, she's on a number of wait lists right now, but is still searching for an infant opening starting in April. And just as they're about to celebrate their first birthdays, those Paulson twins will finally be able to go to the same daycare starting this week. Going to be a big change.